I feel like if they were to do something, that is just someone who's cynical, who feels like the way I was telling you earlier, I don't want to die alone. If I'm going down, I'm taking a lot of people with me. And that's a very cynical, psychotic way of thinking.
Can a person get the virus through those braces?
Nibras Integrated Academy, we're a new school located on Mutati Road in Parklands. Nibras means light in Arabic, and inshallah we plan on illuminating the lives of all the children who will pass through our school. Nibras Integrated Academy is an Islamic integrated school whereby we take pride in our name as we mean light. We are currently offering the CBC curriculum from playgroup all the way to grade 5. So our name inspires us to prepare students for academic success, not only for life but life beyond the classroom, helping our students to grow to be compassionate, thoughtful individuals, and most importantly, children with very good akhlaq and iman in accordance to our religion and teachings. We have put in place the integrated part so that we can cater for our deen and iman. Very good akhlaq is what is our foundation, and inshallah we plan to take Arabic as a language, and we're very keen in that as our teacher will only be speaking Arabic during the lessons. Our school is well equipped with high-end CCTV cameras in our compound and classrooms, which is monitored throughout the day by a security administrator. The school has also put in place a transport whereby it will also have a lady in the car to ensure the safety of our children. It will come and pick them by 7 in the morning and drop them off at 3 in the evening, inshallah. Our November intake is currently in progress, and I would urge you to bring your children to Nibras Integrated Academy and be a part of the beautiful community that we have put in place.
Thank you, Dr. Absamet. Thank you for accepting my request for an interview, and we will be discussing about AIDS. And today the world is observing World AIDS Day. So let's start with why is it important? Why is this day important?
Thank you for the warm welcome, Suleiman. It's a very important day in that there is a huge disease burden of HIV/AIDS in our country, and we need to raise awareness on how it is transmitted, how it can be treated, how it can be prevented.
Thank you. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about HIV/AIDS. What are the major myths Kenyans have about HIV/AIDS?
People believe that if you shake the hand of someone who, not everyone, but some believe if you shake the hand of someone who has HIV/AIDS, if you hug someone with HIV/AIDS, if you use the same utensils or you eat on the same table with them, that you might contract the virus. That is just a true myth, and that's not how the way the virus spreads.
The virus is rampant among the youth. What are the factors that is contributing to be prevalence among the youth?
So I believe lack of using proper sexual protection, number one, because mainly majority of the contraction of HIV is through sexual intercourse. Number two is lack of proper education on the terms of HIV, how to prevent it, how to approach it if you do fear that you might have been in a sexual encounter with someone who has HIV/AIDS. And also the knowledge of mother-to-child transmission and how it can be easily prevented, that someone with HIV can give birth to a very normal, healthy child with no HIV. So it's all about just getting that education and passing that education, which we are doing today.
Since you have said that we cannot get contracted with the AIDS by shaking hand with person living with the virus. So why will people stigmatize people living with the HIV virus?
Sometimes there is no practicality, there is no basis to the stigma. It's just a social construct, because in society we have the social contracts and social norms that we grow up. It's like there's a saying that culture is peer pressure from dead people. It's just peer pressure that dead people put on to our people before they died, and it went on and it only got more toxic and negative for those people who are affected. So I feel there's that negative stigma of HIV/AIDS that is directly related to like bad habits and negative and haram sexual habits in our community especially. So that comes with that stigma that for this person to have had AIDS, they had to be in a haram type of situationship to get there, which is not always the cause.
The reason people give why they stigmatize people living with the HIV/AIDS is that people living with HIV virus, they intentionally spread the virus. Is that true?
You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. There might be some truth to that statement. There might be some bogusness to that statement, because we're all different. All of us, we're just like the 5 fingers in your hand. They're not the same. We're not the same as personalities. So maybe some person might feel like, if I won't die alone, I might need to spread this. But see, in Kenya, we have VCTs, and there is counseling, pre-testing counseling, post-testing counseling, and continuous counseling as you take your ARVs. And people are advised and told that if you do this to someone, it's like the person who did it to you. How did you feel? Would you want to put that feeling on someone else who has done nothing wrong to you? So it's all about just passing that message in a sincere, honest, and understandable way.
As with any disease, people living with HIV virus, they need our help. So how can we be of help to them?
Number one is to stop stigmatizing people who live with HIV. You can live a very okay, very normal life with HIV as long as you take your ARVs. ARVs have come a long and very far way. There was a recent study showing that if some people who take ARVs continuously, the viral load of HIV can drop so low to an extent that they can have sexual relations with another person without transmitting the disease. So there are strides being taken. There is research on a certain new drug therapy that might actually be a cure. So maybe 10 years from now, there might be no HIV and it's a thing of the past. And something even worse, like the cancer, the way cancer is just moving mad, will come. So it's just a cycle of diseases.
I would like us to discuss a little bit more on the myth associated with the HIV/AIDS, especially people. Most of the time, people complain about their maids of trying to spread the disease to them by adding their blood droplets to their foods or water or whatever that the maid is serving their bosses. Is that a way of getting the virus from the maid?
They're trying to sabotage them. That's the word they would use.
Okay.
I've had that a lot, even being in med school, because like I've had a lot of Somali hoyas before even WhatsApp groups were there saying, Nag hadi AIDS qabto unta di kudig kugalin karta. Not even a long time ago, recently when I was working in Italy, mothers used to bring their new house helps to the hospital to be tested for HIV. And I would always tell them, like, the chances of her giving you HIV through the utensils, through food, are close to zero. Maybe kijana wako akilala na mtu kawia. No, inaweza kuwa ngori. But if it is utensils, if it's cooking, like the virus just dies like very fast once it's exposed to the air. Especially now you add that heat that is coming from the cooking of the food, it's non-existent. Maybe other diseases might be past, but not HIV.
Let's say even the maid had she has the virus, and what will make her to do such a thing, to spread maybe the virus through those practices that you say there's not a way of spreading the virus, but what will make them do such a thing?
I feel like if they were to do something, that is just someone who's cynical, who feels like, the way I was telling you earlier, I don't want to die alone. If I'm going down, I'm taking a lot of people with me. And that's a very cynical, psychotic way of thinking. And I think we should get out of that, and we can get out through like education, through proper therapy, because like talking and just like listening to one another really does go a long way.
The other myth about ways of getting the virus through this, what do you call, braces. Is this called teeth braces? I don't know, those braces. Can a person get the virus through those braces?
I would love to leave that question to dentists, since I don't practice dentistry, okay. But it might be possible if that person, their braces had direct contact with their gums and like the blood in their gums, and those braces might not have been sterilized well. As I was telling you, maybe if the needle that they used for numbing the gums was not sterilized, that might also be a case. But for someone to not sterilize the equipment after not using it, I don't think there is such a dentist, a qualified dentist who has gone to school for 5-6 years.
Yes.
Sterilization is like the first thing you're taught when you go through the door in uni.
We came to the end of our short interview. The last 2 questions. Number 1, how can we prevent ourselves from contracting this virus?
So the way is like proper sexual practices. If you're not in a committed single relationship, for us Muslims, if you're not married, then wear a condom or abstain. The best way is to abstain. If not, then you have to have like a committed relationship. The more relationships, the more you are at risk. The more unprotected relationships, the more you're putting yourself at deadly risk. Also, education, educating people on those safe sexual practices, not sharing needles with people. Also, if you're going to a place to get braces, you need to know where you're going. You need to look at the equipment. Tell them, take me to your room where you do the bracing. I want to see what you do. I don't want to see a patient there, but I want to see how does the room look, how does the equipment look. And you're entitled, say Kenya, if you want to go to a doctor, you can search up the doctor you're going to in the KMPDC registry. You can look up, for me example, you search Dr. Dimbil in KMPDC. It brings up my KMPDC number, my qualifications. If you're going to a dentist for braces, you go to KMPDC, look it up. If you're going to plastic surgery, there's a sad case of a mama who died from a plastic surgery, botched plastic surgery procedure, but we don't know for sure because the court case is going on. But if you are going to a plastic surgeon, search them up. Wherever you're going to, search that person up.
Dr. Dimbil, thanks for your valuable insight and for being my guest for this important topic.
It was a pleasure, and to many more, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you, viewers. That is the end of my short interview with Dr. Dimbil. We were discussing about HIV/AIDS, and today is the World AIDS Day. I hope you have found very useful information about the virus and how we can prevent ourselves from getting this virus. Till we meet again, bye bye now.
Ciao.